said that Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open door.
Well, how you doing, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Cajun Conservative, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we're exposing the lies and introducing you to the truth. Hope you're having a good day, good week, wherever you're located, for this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Hope you are blessed beyond measure. If this is your first time listening, welcome to the Cajun Conservative family. Thank you. We hope you like the content. If you like the content, please hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button on the platform you're listening on. If you can go like our social media accounts on Twitter and on Facebook, excuse me, and Parler, all them good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We are excited. Busy weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Busy weekend, running a little late, but guess what? We're going to get it done. We're going to go ahead and make it. I think I caught a bug somewhere, and I'm human, everybody, I'm human. I get sick sometimes, but we're going to go ahead and make it through. All right. So let's jump right into this. Ladies and gentlemen, we had the Inflation Reduction Act. I like to call it the Inflation, Increase Act. You could call it that way because, ladies and gentlemen, this bill was presented to us as a bill that was, it's going to reduce inflation. It's going to help the nation. We had Joe Manchin saying this isn't a blue bill or a red bill. This is an American bill. This is a red, white, and blue bill. This is an American first plan. This is something that's going to help America. But, ladies and gentlemen, since the bill has been signed, the Democrats and the media have been trying their best to change the perspective of this bill. What you mean by that, brother Isaac? Oh, Isaac, what do you mean that they're trying to change the name of this bill? Well, this is from Town Hall Media. Liberal media have renamed the Inflation Reduction Act. Liberal media outlets and journalists are being criticized for suddenly reporting on the Inflation Reduction Act differently, dodging the legislation's name after it was passed, since it won't do anything to reduce inflation. As President Biden was set to sign the legislation, CNN-chief White House correspondent Kathleen Collins formed it as the Climate Tax and Health Care Bill. Then you go ahead and you starting to have all this is not CNN, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people, a lot of left wing. I'm starting to hear this more and more. This bill is not the Inflation Reduction Act. It is the climate. I want to make sure I say it correctly. The Climate Tax and Health Care Bill. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Why all of a sudden they're changing? Because, ladies and gentlemen, it passed. And look, I say this on the show all the time. I praise Joe Manchin. I praise Christian Cinema. They held out for a long time. But I remember one episode I came in with you guys, and I said that do not be surprised if Joe Manchin goes towards the Democrats' way, which he did. Now, everyone says that because this bill, the reason they're changing it, they lied to you, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't going to help reduce inflation. It's been proven by a number of committees. Now, listen to this right here. This is from the Daily Caller. Manchin, Democrats never said Inflation Reduction Act would immediately bring down the cost. Democrat West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin claimed Democrats never said the newly passed Inflation Reduction Act would immediately bring down costs. The senator admitted to Fox News reporter Hillary Vance that the reconciliation package would not immediately bring down the cost of groceries and everyday goods. Several Democrats have said Americans would see prices go down thanks to the legislation. This was the question that she asked our Senator Joe Manchin. Is it misleading to call this the Inflation Reduction Act for Americans? when it's not going to make their grocery bill cheaper, it's not going to make everyday goods cheaper for them, at least immediately, the journalist asks. And this is Joe Manchin's reply. Why would it? Well, immediately it's not, Manchin responded. But we never said anything happens immediately, like today turns the switch on and off. See, this is the problem with Joe Manchin's response. The Democrat Party and a lot of the left-wing media push this bill as it was going to cut down inflation. That was, look, the name. The name in the legislation is the Inflation Reduction Act, which you're telling the American people that this bill right here is going to bring down costs for you, the American people, so you can live better. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrats and the left-wing media have been saying for months that this bill was going to help you. This bill, Joe Manchin said it himself, this is an American bill. This is a red, white, and blue bill. This is going to save costs. And now all of a sudden, they're changing their tune. Why? Because, ladies and gentlemen, they lied. The Democrat Party lied to you. The Democrat Party said that this bill was going to help you and make your life better in this great United States of America. But now they have to change the name. Oh, it is a climate tax and health care bill. Why? Because those were the main points of that bill, ladies and gentlemen. Those points were the main focus of the bill. They had nothing to do with the inflation reduction, inflation coming down. No, ladies and gentlemen, the Democrat Party shaped this. And look, I don't think American people were fooled. That's why they rushed it in. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if more Americans would have started talking about this, and more Americans would have started looking into it, it would have got a less favorable I'm trying to think of the word, less favorable approval. Ladies and gentlemen, the Democrat Party, ladies and gentlemen, have been they do this all the time. They do this all the time. They will tell you a name of a bill, and they will go around the concept that this bill is around one particular thing, but you have 4 or 5 things that they're really targeting, like the Inflation Reduction Act. Let's use that. The title of the bill, as I said, the Inflation Reduction Act. When you hear something like that, you think, wow, it's gonna bring down inflation. But no, ladies and gentlemen, it's not bringing down inflation. It's not going to tackle inflation like to 2 to 3 years, the way that the Democrat Party is saying. But you know what's going to go ahead and take effect right away? Climate change. Look, they're giving you incentives. In this bill, they're giving incentives to electric car buyers. If you buy an electric car, you get a tax incentive. It's getting to the point where Dodge is taking away the Charger and the Challenger. Muscle cars that you will not be able to get no more because of green energy. Healthcare. This is going to work. The stuff for healthcare is going to take effect automatically. Taxes is going to raise. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it's funding the IRS. I got a question. What does the IRS have to do with inflation? Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. This bill right here, and it was so blunt, ladies and gentlemen. I never seen a bill do this before. Excuse me. I never seen a bill do this before, where the pork is out in the open. Normally, these bills, when they start going through the House and the Senate, they try to hide these things, ladies and gentlemen. But this bill funds 87,000 new IRS agents. Oh, that's for audits and that's for this. What does that got to do with inflation? What does that got to do with inflation? What does that got to do with hiring more agents for the IRS? And then the job description of it is phenomenal, to where you have to go ahead and you have to make sure you know how to use a firearm and you know how to use force and you know how to basically be a cop. What does that got to do with inflation, ladies and gentlemen? And look, those are the things that are taking effect right away. Those are the things that are going to take effect right away. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, the most important part to bring down inflation isn't going to happen. And then you have the president, like I said the other day, saying that inflation went down to 8.5. We had zero inflation in the month of October, in the month of July. Ladies and gentlemen, you bring down gas prices and stuff like we explained all that a while back. Now, this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I honestly feel Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema bow to their party. Shouldn't surprise us. The great Moon Griffon says this all the time on his radio show. If you had a choice to have a Democrat or a Republican in a bunker with you, or a manhole, to like in the World War II, you'd be better off having a Democrat than a Republican, because the Democrats fight with each other. They don't fight with each other. They fight with each other. I'm trying to say it in the right way. The Democrat Party sticks by the Democrats. If you're a Democrat, you're going to stick with the party. You're not going to go ahead and venture off somewhere else. No, you're going to go ahead and stay with your party. And ladies and gentlemen, Joe Manchin wants the Democrats to win in November. He don't want the Republicans to win. Ladies and gentlemen, first off, he has a lot of power right now because he's the deciding vote on a lot of things. Joe Manchin has a lot of power in Washington right now. He don't want the Republicans to win. He wants the Republicans to lose so he can keep that power in the Senate and in the House. He don't want to give that power to nobody else. Also, he's more left than you think he is, ladies and gentlemen. And all this is to win in November. Why do I say that? Fox News put an article out earlier where they used their power rankings, and all of a sudden now, the majority shrinks for the Republican Party. Fox News power ranking GOP House majority shrinks as Democrats source key victories. Republicans are expected to win the House this November, but on a slimmer margin than previously forecast. While neither party can yet claim a majority in the Senate, in this editorial of the Fox News Power Rankings, edition of the Power Rankings, the GOP suffers a net loss of 6 seats in the House as polling improves for the Democrats. Plus shifts in almost a dozen Senate and governor's races. House Republicans forecast to win a majority 2 to 30 seats fewer than approaching in July. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what this is about right here. We all said, look, the gas prices, the CHIPS bill, which the Republicans helped pass, this bill, all this is for November. And you know what's sad, ladies and gentlemen? The Republican Party, as I said, have a hand in this. All of a sudden now we're not going to win too many big seats. Well, you did it. You let Joe Manchin and Chuck Schumer run over you. Y'all passed the CHIPS bill where they didn't have nothing hanging over. Because, see, ladies and gentlemen, the Republican Party would have said, no, we're not doing the CHIPS bill. You wouldn't have the Inflation Reduction Act. But, ladies and gentlemen, the Republicans helped them do this. All this, what the Democrats are doing, is to win seats in November. And you know what's sad, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know about this poll. This is a forecast. I don't know where they got the information from. Ladies and gentlemen, I honestly think that the Inflation Reduction Act is not going to help them in November. I think the Democrat Party is still going to lose a lot. But the problem with it is, ladies and gentlemen, if Republicans keep helping the Democrats win battles, because there's, I think it's this article, there was 6 main issues that the Democrat Party won in 3 months. And it was all helped by the Republican Party. Ladies and gentlemen, look, and I'm gonna be honest with you. If I had to advise you in voting, don't vote Democrat. They lied to you to get this bill passed. Ladies and gentlemen, everything in the Inflation Reduction Act is hurting America. But the media is gonna go ahead and push it as something good. The media is gonna go ahead and push it as something great. They're gonna go ahead and push it as something that's gonna help Americans, but in reality, it's not gonna help nobody. And unfortunately, we have some Americans that are fighting right now to pay their bills, but still going to go ahead and vote Democrat in the midterms because Joe Manchin says the Inflation Reduction Act is going to help you, but it's not going to bring down inflation right away. It's going to bring up climate change. It's going to bring up taxes. It's going to bring up health care. That's all going to happen right away, right when the bill passes. But inflation, nah, you're going to have to wait on that. For us to get our agenda passed, you're going to have to wait to have a better life, which if you vote Democrat and Democrats run the show, you're never going to have a good life in this country. I'll be right back after this short break.
Cheers and good on you, boys and girls. My name is Scott Ford, and I have a show on Rumble. It's the Scott Ford Show, all in one word, the Scott Ford Show, and it's on Rumble. And I also have a motivational success show on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe and ring that bell. That would mean a lot to me. Enjoy your life. Thank you, Isaac. God bless.
With your blood, cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show. So I found something ironic the other day, ladies and gentlemen. So this is from Fox News. Biden heads back to Delaware's beach house. Okay, he apparently has a house in Delaware, where he's building a $500,000 taxpayer-funded security fence. Ladies and gentlemen, $500,000 of your dollar. Now, according to the United States government, that's in their scene of money, maybe $5. But after spending much of his summer vacation in the Cajun Islands, South Carolina, President Biden is heading back to his multi-million-dollar beach house in his home state of Delaware, where he's building a taxpayer-funded security fence at a cost that the ballooned to nearly $500,000. Biden is expected to arrive at his $2.7 million summer house in the North Shore community when he goes on vacation. Let's see. This is from last Saturday. Rehoboth Beach on Saturday after spending the last couple of nights in Wilmington, Delaware, according to the data released by the Federal Advanced Administration. On Wednesday, Biden was briefly at the White House signing of the $739 billion Inflation Reduction Act. In September of 2021, the Department of Homeland Security awarded $456,548 to a Sussex County company to construct a security fence around the president's home. Ladies and gentlemen, President Biden owns a $2.7 million summer house. And we're building a fence. There's a lot of things that are wrong with this, in my opinion. Two of them I'm going to point out right here. One, the president owns a $2.7 million house. Where is he getting the money? Isn't Joe Biden supposed to be a public servant? And as a public servant, doesn't he supposed to only have so much a year? How is President Biden owns a $2.7 million summer house? And if he owns a $2.7 million summer house, if that's his personal house, why ain't he building his own fence? You might ask the question, well, what about Donald Trump? Donald Trump has a lot of problems. Look at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, but Donald Trump did not take a paycheck while he was the president of the United States. Every year when he would get his check, he would donate that check to somebody else. So President Trump would, just give his money away. Now, on the flip side of this, Donald Trump never built a fence around his house in Mar-a-Lago on taxpayers' dollars. So that raises a couple of questions. And then, why does Biden, our president, have a fence around his home where he can feel secure and we don't have a fence or a border wall along the southern border? See, ladies and gentlemen, these are questions that you ask. See, this is hypocrisy at its finest, as I say all the time. You have a president that says, I'm going to go ahead and build a $500,000 fence, and you're going to pay for it because I need to be protected, which he should. Biden is the president of the United States. I'm not against him having protection, but the problem with it is hypocrisy. He wants to defend himself and protect himself, but the country that he's governing, we can have open borders. If he believes in letting people free range on properties or come through the border, he shouldn't be building a fence. That's just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think the president of the United States, and look, it goes down to a lot more than just that. Like I said, where did he get the money to buy it? Now, look, if Biden has the money, hey, buy a $2.7 million home. Hey, if anything happens that we would get big here at the Cajun Conservative or BJS Media, I will gladly buy me a $2.7 million home. But I won't go run for president, get the presidency, and say, hey, I need to put a new fence around my home. That is his private residency. The White House, hey, I can understand that. That's hey, Secret Service, hey, that's all part of the government. But ladies and gentlemen, $2.7 million home, and he's put it in the taxpayers are paying for a fence. I'm just excuse me. I'm just baffled by that. All right, let's move on. So Liz Cheney last week went on a cry tour, I can call it. Liz Cheney appeared on a few shows this weekend and ripped the Democrats. We're going to talk a little bit about Liz Cheney because, as you know, last Tuesday, Liz Cheney went into an election primary where she was beaten by a Trump-backed candidate by a whopping 37 points. Why did she lose? I think she's still wondering that. I wonder why the people of Wyoming didn't vote for me. I was just trying to protect their rights in the Constitution. But in reality, ladies and gentlemen, the people of Wyoming did not want her to do that. And that's what's good about our country. We have the right and the privilege of voting our people out of office that we don't feel line up with our views. And ladies and gentlemen, 37 points. That ain't just a near squeak loss. That is a big loss. That is a landslide. But Liz Cheney is blaming everyone else except herself for the loss. She blamed Trump. She's blaming the Republicans. As this article says, Liz Cheney rips into the Republican voters' leadership as very sick after the landslide primary loss. Representative Liz Cheney of Wyoming called large portions of the Republican Party very sick in an interview recapping her failed bid to stay in office. Cheney asked by ABC News what she thought her loss said about the Republican Party said is significant. Former President Donald Trump's stronghold on the party. It says clearly Trump hold is very strong among some portions of the Republican Party. My state of Wyoming is not necessarily a representation sample of the party. Representing sample of the party, Cheney said. Wyoming is one of the reddest states in the union. Cheney continued, I think it says a couple of things. I think it says people cannot continue to believe the lie. They continue to believe what he's saying, which is dangerous. Cheney has been the most primary Republican critic of Trump since he left office. She has used her position on the January 6th House Select Committee to lobby Trump for his efforts. Lambert's Trump for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Trump-backed challenger Harriet Hagerman defeated Cheney by 37 points on Tuesday. Now, this is what I'm going to get to right here. I think it also tells you that a large portion of our party, including the leadership of our party, is very sick, she claimed. There's a problem with this right here, Liz Cheney. You want these same people to vote for you back in 2024 when you run for president. Ladies and gentlemen, I can already tell you probably the three that's going to run. It's going to probably be Liz Cheney, it's going to be Donald Trump, and it's going to be Ron DeSantis. That's going to run for the 2024 primary seat for the Republican Party. But ladies and gentlemen, Liz Cheney saying things to this, like, look, what she's basically saying, people like me and like you that listen to this show and that believe the same way that we believe, we're sick. We believe in Donald Trump's message. We believe in Donald Trump's thoughts. Look, ladies and gentlemen, okay, you can have your own beliefs on the 2020 election. Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump can have his thoughts on the 2020 election. And she could disagree with him. But that does not give Liz Cheney the right to go on a January 6th committee where Donald Trump does not have representation and a fair hearing on the things that happened on January 6th and the 2020 election. Ladies and gentlemen, Liz Cheney's goal, when that came from the Wall Street Journal, she's forming this new political group. It is to stop Donald Trump. Liz Cheney has done it, and this is why I'm saying, Liz Cheney, go be a Democrat. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, she don't want to be a Democrat because the dynasty is in the Republican Party. The Cheney dynasty is in the Republican Party. But ladies and gentlemen, she's attacking the same voters, first of all, that voted her out. And she's attacking them again, expecting them to vote for her in 2024. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. This whole thing right here. She's attacking Republican voters. And she's saying, hey, I don't want nothing to do with y'all. Y'all sick. You're very sick to listen to Donald Trump. Also, Liz Cheney just did not attack the Republican voters. No, she is attacking some big dogs in the Republican Party. Now, this all came from an interview with ABC. This is from the Daily Beast. It says, gloves off. Liz Cheney lashes out at election deniers DeSantis, Harley, and Cruz after primary loss. Republican Liz Cheney publicly shamed some of her congressional colleagues and portion election opportunists as her landslide loss in Wyoming primary this week argued their brand of election denialistics will be their fatal flaw. If you look at someone like Josh Hawley or somebody like Ted Cruz, both of whom know better, both of whom know exactly what the rule of Congress is in terms of our constitutional obligations with respect to presidential elections, she told ABC Jonathan Karl on this week's, and yet both of whom take steps to fundamentally threaten the Constitution order and structure in the aftermath of the last election. So you know, in my view, they both have made themselves unfit for future office. There's a problem. People are still voting them in. They're not voting you in, Liz Cheney. Harley and Cruz were two examples of broader segments of Republicans. They also include House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, who called for Cheney's defeat in her primary. The two are also potential challengers for the Republican nomination for president in 2024. And Title Cheney has said she was actively considering. She did not mince words for her potential chief opponent for the nomination behind Donald Trump. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis. DeSantis is somebody who is right now campaigning for the election deniers, she said. And I think that is something. I think that is something that I think people got to have a real pause about. Either you're fundamentally believe in our constitutional structure or you don't. I made an episode a while back. What if it was stolen? Go check that out. This is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Liz Cheney was one of these people that didn't even want to look at it. And look, I'm not saying the election of 2020 was stolen. All I can say is I don't believe 81 million people voted for Joe Biden. That's my opinion. But ladies and gentlemen, look. Ron DeSantis is in his primary Tuesday is going to probably win in a landslide. Josh Hawley and Ted Cruz are getting elected. Liz Cheney, you're not. You just lost your election. And trying to say that they are not fit to hold the office they are representing because they think something. You think that it was all right. You think it was okay, but we should honor your thoughts and your opinions. Now, this is a whole nother thing too. I want to, if you don't mind me saying, Liz Cheney saying that she, these three men that she mentioned here are not holding to the Constitution obligations they are holding. She ain't either. Ladies and gentlemen, she's part of a committee that said you cannot go ahead and bring any witnesses for Donald Trump. You cannot defend Donald Trump in no way, shape, or form. If you even thought about supporting Trump, you cannot be on this committee. Oh, Isaac, what you saying about that? Well, what about Jim Banks and Jim Jordan? They were supposed to be on the January 6th committee. Kevin McCarthy asked Republicans that were on side for Trump so they can go look at all the evidence. Liz Cheney was one that was selected by Nancy Pelosi. Why? Because they needed a bipartisanship committee. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Kinslinger and Liz Cheney voted to impeach Donald Trump. This whole January 6th committee was a sham from the beginning. And Liz Cheney is putting her reputation on that committee. But she wants to go ahead and attack Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, and Ron DeSantis not holding up their constitutional structure or the constitutional obligations they have. She ain't either. Because according to, I think it's the Fourth Amendment, you're supposed to have a person that's supposed to defend you. And you're supposed to let the defendant defend himself. But she ain't doing it either, ladies and gentlemen. So Liz Cheney saying that. Now, this is all going to end right here. Like I said, Liz Cheney, this is from the Daily Wire. Liz Cheney says she'll support Dems in races against some Republicans. Representative Liz Cheney said on Sunday that she will support the opponents of GOP candidates whom she deems election deniers. Cheney shared a comment Sunday during an appearance on ABC This Week. I'm going to be very focused on working to ensure that we do everything we can not to elect election deniers. She said during an interview, we've got election deniers that have been nominated for really important positions all over the across the country. She said, I'm going to work against those people. I'm going to work to support their opponents. The remarks come after Cheney suffered a landslide loss last week in Wyoming's GOP primary on Tuesday. Trump-endorsed candidate Harriet Hagman defeated her. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to what Liz Cheney just said. She's going to support. That's her main. Look, think about this, ladies and gentlemen. This is why Liz Cheney's a rhino. This is why Liz Cheney needs to go. I'm glad she lost. Her top priority is to stop election deniers. So if she's pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, she's everything else. But there's one person that it's in her terms election denier. She's not going to support him. So and look, this is the thing I can't stand with some Republicans. They take one issue, and don't vote on that issue. You get what I'm saying? So you can believe. I'm gonna use, for example, myself. If I'm running for office and I have another guy that's a Republican that I beat, and we agree 99%, he's gonna take that 1%. He's gonna say I'm not gonna support him because of that 1%. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I say this: Liz Cheney, a moderate, needs to switch her party to Democrat. She needs to. If you're going to go ahead and support Democrats and you're a Republican, you need to go ahead. The last segment I said that was about Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin held his ground for a long time, but when push came to shove, he went ahead and he backed up the Democrat Party. Unfortunately, Republicans, I agree. He's an election denier. I'm going to vote for someone else. Ladies and gentlemen, this is dangerous. And this is why the party needs to be purged. I am a Republican. I love the Republican Party. But the Republican Party right here, Republicans like Liz Cheney, we don't need. She is a rhino, Republican in name only. And Liz Cheney, as she's still digging herself in a hole. Because she's attacking the Republican voters. She's tackling some of the most popular Republicans out there. And to top it off, she says she's going to vote Democrat in this next election. God help us. I'll be right back after this short break. How you doing, everyone? Isaac here, and I am with Phil Kennedy. He is the artist of the Center of the Door album that I have in my hand right here. And Phil, thank you for coming by, and just wanted to ask you a little bit about your album. And does this tell me a little bit of information what led you to make this album?
Thank you, Brother Isaac. I am a songwriter mostly, and firstly, I'm a preacher of the gospel. So the Lord has always blessed me, it seems, with a song, with a sermon for the song. And that seems to be how it started when I first started preaching. So, before you know it, you've written way more songs than you have sermons. And I just like to get a little group of them together now and then. It's the songs I've been singing as I travel to Mexico and this place and that and preach, Oklahoma or wherever else the Lord takes me. And I sing those songs. So I put a little CD together.
Hey, look, I'm going to be honest. It's a great album. Look, even my friend Scott Ford, I sent him a digital copy of it, and he loved it. He said he loved the album. He loved the way you sing, and it's a real big blessing. It's a good blessing for us, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I know that it's available in the digital world. It's available with me physically if you just message me or try to friend me on Evangelist Phil Kennedy Facebook. And the other information, I'm sure you can give them.
Right. Well, we know for sure it's on Apple Music and it's on Spotify, where you can find the Cajun Conservative and Brothers Just Searching. Go ahead and look it up after you listen to our podcast. Go listen to a little bit of Phil Kennedy's album, Center of the Door. You'll be blessed. I promise you.
You're my peace of mind. when this old world seems to get me down.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. So let's talk a little bit about libraries. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be blunt with you. I sat down with a couple of people last week, went to a luncheon with some of the Republican leaderships and stuff like that. And this was brought up about libraries. So the jump off though is the Bible and Anne Frank diary yanked from shelves in Texas school districts. All versions of the Bible and illustrated versions of Anne Frank's diary were amongst the challenge books that were pulled from shelves across Keller Independent School District in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In Texas, the move comes after Texas educated officials began an investigation last December into claims that the district did not properly evaluate the books that made their way into the classroom and school libraries, which may have resulted in sexual exploit material being made accessible to school-aged children. Governor Greg Abbott called the state educators officials at the time to investigate the availability of pornography in public schools and to develop new standards that would prevent obscene content in the public school. The investigation was triggered after parents complained about Gender Queer, a memoir, a graphic novel by Mia Kababi, that explored gender identity and sexual orientation and included illustration depictions of oral sex. Now, this is where it comes to the point right here, ladies. And why is the Bible and this other book is being pulled out? Because the left in Fort Worth and in Dallas are mad that the governor told them to take out books about sexuality, gender identifying, and other sources of that nature. So instead of just listening to the governor, they said, well, we're going to pull out the Bible and we're going to pull out other books that are not bad. And ladies and gentlemen, look, it's kind of sad. It gets to the point where gender ideology books and sexual books with the age group of 3 to 4 year olds are being welcomed, and they're taking out the Bible. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been reading the Bible all my life, and the Bible isn't as bad as what I seen the other day with some books. I'm not going to show them on screen. I'm not going to describe them, but the books were horrifying. But ladies and gentlemen, look how the left does that. Oh, you're going to take away our books? Well, we're going to take away your books. Ladies and gentlemen, look, and this thing of, they've been trying, the left has been trying to purge libraries of books that are moral and books that are, especially the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why. You know, look, I deal with atheists and agnostics and the left all the time. Doing this show and Brothers Just Searching, I deal with the left and the liberal and the atheists. I deal with them all the time. It's kind of funny that this group of people hate the Bible so much that they want to burn it or they want to get rid of it. And you know, but when you start talking about books of gender ideology or sex changes or things that are promoting sexuality, oh, that's fine. Kids got to learn. Kids got to have a visuality. No, as a parent, I don't want my kid to visualize that. When my kid is married and they know what the proper way to do it, yeah. But I don't want my 7-year-old, my 4-year-old, and my 2-year-old to go ahead and see things like that. I would rather my kids read the Bible. But ladies and gentlemen, the left don't want that. The left don't want morals. The left don't want things that are right. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but the left and the atheist and the agnostic, I'm sorry, they're some of the most immoral people around. Just look at Gay Pride Month. Now, I go to this point. We have an issue going on in Louisiana as well. This is from my good friends at newlouisiana.org, the Citizens for a New Louisiana. And they went ahead and went to Livingston Parish libraries. And they found, listen to this, they found books. And there's pictures. If you want to go online, This type of newlouisiana.org. There's pictures that the books that they found with these books showing sexual acts. Let's just say it like that. I'm trying to be PG right here, ladies and gentlemen. But ladies and gentlemen, these people in these libraries are pushing for their quality supporting gay communities. They're not supporting moral stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, and look, these books were not found in the adult section. These were found in the kids section. These books were recommended for children 3-year-old and up. We need to start. Listen, if your kids are in school, you need to find an alternate way to put them in homeschooling or private school. These libraries need to be held accountable. Now, good thing in my parish where we live at, I have a good friend that looked into that, and they didn't have those books there. So my parish is good right now, but Lafayette Parish is having issues with this. Ladies and gentlemen, the writer of this article is getting threatened to be sued because he don't want to bring the books back. Ladies and gentlemen, because they're going to stop. What they want them books back so they can hide them and tell them we never had those books. And that's what the left does, ladies and gentlemen. The left goes ahead and they say, oh, we never had them. And they had them. They try to hide. Look, we talked about in the first segment with the Inflation Reduction Act. Why they're changing the name? Because, we never called it that. Oh, we never called it that. We never said inflation would go down with it. They're trying to hide everything, ladies and gentlemen. And look, they want to take out the Bible. They want to take out good, moral, kid-friendly books because they maybe said something bad about gender or quoted the wrong pronoun. But libraries want to keep sexualized books for the kids. It's sad, ladies and gentlemen. It's sad beyond compare. All right, so on the final subject of the day, so Judge Reinhart, this came out a couple of minutes ago. I am recording late because, like I said, unfortunately I felt ill over the weekend, and that's why it's late. If you're listening, you're not listening on Monday. You're probably like, well, why are you saying that? If you're listening on Monday, he's running late. The show dropped late. It's because I fell ill. But this happened on the 22nd of August. Judge Reinhart formally rejects DOJ's argument to keep Trump affidavit sealed, calls raid unprecedented. Now, this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. This judge signed the warrant for the Mar-a-Lago raid. Think about this. Now he's calling it unprecedented. Judge Bruce Reinhart on Monday admitted that the FBI raid on former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home was unprecedented and formally rejects the Justice Department's argument to keep the affidavit leading to the search under seal, creating the interest public and historical interest. Reinhart is filing Monday morning says he rejects the government's argument that the president's record justified keeping the entire affidavit under seal. The government argued that they even required it to redact portions of the affidavit could not reveal agents' identity or investigative sources and method imposed on under border on its sources, and says the president that can be disrupted and bothersome in future cases. Reinhart wrote, I do not need to reach the questions of whether in some of the cases these concerns could justify denying public access. They very well might. He added, partially given the interest public, interest public and the historical interest, intense public and the historical interest in an unprecedented search of a former president's residence, the government has not yet shown that these administrative concerns are suffering to justify the sealing. So basically what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen, Trump has asked for the affidavit to be released. The government says, no, we don't want to release the affidavit because we feel it's going to hurt our investigation. But now the judge that signed the warrant to go on to Mar-a-Lago said, no, it was unprecedented and we need to do. Now, he did give them a date of August 25th, which is in a couple of days. He gave them the deadline to say, look, give me a redacted affidavit, hiding a lot of main information, and we'll see. If not, I'm going to go ahead and bring a reduction affidavit. But ladies and gentlemen, this goes to the question of, and this whole raid, first off, was wrong. I believe this was political. There's no if and buts about it, ladies and gentlemen. You have a president that says he don't know nothing about this, and I already voiced my concerns. If he didn't know about it, we have a lot more trouble than we think. But you have a Justice Department that's going after a former president that's probably going to be a candidate in the next coming presidential election. It just looks bad all around. They only do this in third world countries, by the way. I'm just being blunt. But now you have the federal government saying, well, we don't want to release that affidavit because that affidavit is going to reveal some things that we don't want you to know. Well, what is going to... And look, the only thing that they're saying right now... Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. The only thing they're saying right now is that they had probable cause to go in there. They only had probable cause to go into the Mar-a-Lago home. They had probable cause. They knew something was in there, so they had to go. They're not saying what the probable cause was. But now they rejected. Like I said, this affidavit is going to come out now, or at least a redacted version of it. So we're going to see what the government wanted to do with this. Why did the Justice Department all of a sudden have to? Because, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump, all the way it's shaped. Now, you have some people on the left saying, no, that's not true. He was not helping out. No, ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump told him. I heard someone say one time the other day, now, this can't be verified, but they gave him this, and he said, I don't want him. Y'all can come get him. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this whole raid was wrong. Let's just say it like that. It was wrong, and this needs to be fixed. Our Justice Department is not fair and balanced no more. It's partisan, ladies and gentlemen. When you have certain people of a political party can get away with everything, and one party can't get away with clipping their toenails, we have issues. But I'm kind of look, to be honest with you, I did say this the other day. I didn't think I thought the judge was going to side with the Justice Department and say, no, we're going to keep that affidavit sealed. We're going to release everything else except that. And look, I'm kind of glad he did it. Look, apparently he changed his mind, or somebody got a hold of him to where he was like, no, that ain't right what they did. So Donald Trump, I want to see this affidavit. When it comes out, I'm going to look at it. But on that note, I asked the question again, why does the DOJ want to keep this affidavit closed? Why do they want to go ahead and not bring this affidavit out? Why don't they want us to see this affidavit? Why don't they? Because, ladies and gentlemen, 9 out of 10, the FBI and the DOJ have something to hide. Merrick Garland, I don't trust Merrick Garland more than I could throw a 1,000-pound rock. Christopher Reeves, I know he was brought in there by Donald Trump, but this dude is so wishy-washy. I don't see him. Jim Comey was bad. Christopher Reeves is hiding in the shadows. You don't know who the FBI director is right now, but I know because I study. But Christopher Reeves was put in there by Trump, and he ain't doing diddly squat. Trump. It's kind of funny. Him and William Barr all said the same thing. Well, we're gonna go ahead and clean up the Justice Department. We're gonna go ahead, and they didn't do diddly squat. Because, ladies and gentlemen, from the beginning, ladies and gentlemen, they've been trying to foil Donald Trump's plans. But like I said, hey, at least this affidavit is going to be coming out. We better see what's going on in the raid, and I'm shocked. Now I want to see what the redacted version of it is too. Because if you come on a redacted version, this guy goes, yeah, it's good. We're gonna go with it, and don't say no information. Now, this is for a waste anyway. So on that note, I want to go ahead and thank you for listening to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. If you can, please hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button. Remember to go like my Facebook page. Go check out my website, thecajunconservativeshow.wordpress.com. So until next time, be blessed, be encouraged. Remember, Jesus Christ is coming back, and he's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. Until next time, you be blessed. Bye-bye.
Jesus Christ has risen, and he is the open